Welcome. Thanks for joining us again today. My wife and I have this little thing that we do when one or the other of us are kind of starting to spin on a situation or we're starting to get frustrated by something. We'll usually say to one another, hey, you know what? Our life is good. And it's a great trigger for both of us. It actually puts us in that mindset that, yeah, my life is good. And in light of everything that's going on, this isn't that big of a deal. It helps to change our perspective a little bit. This Sunday, I got to talk to you about perspective and that idea of looking up to the heavens where Jesus is seated at the throne. And when we change our perspective up just a little bit, it starts to make the circumstances in our life come into scope and how important that is. One of the things I want to talk with you today about, though, is how do we use gratefulness to change our perspective. Whenever my mind gets spinning on things, whether it's anxieties or fears or frustrations or angers, but those kind of negative emotions, and sometimes they're totally unfounded. They're outside of my control. There's nothing that I can actually do about them. The first thing I need to do is call it out. Call it for what it is and say, oh, I'm feeling anxious about that, or I'm feeling fearful about that. As soon as we call it out, it starts to take the power away from it because now our mind is saying, okay, I've identified what's going on here. Now, the second thing that we like to do in our house is we like to be grateful. And so here's what I'd like you to do today. Grab a notebook and write down 5 things you're grateful for. If you start to get on a roll, don't stop. Go for 10, 15. You can fill a whole notebook up with the things you're grateful for. And then later today, if for some reason those emotions start welling up in you, those negative ones, those ones in 2 Corinthians 10:5 says that we hold those thoughts captive. Remember, we have to be air traffic controllers of our minds. We need to know what flights are coming in, and there's some flights we need to route to different places, right? So be an air traffic controller today. And when you find those negative emotions, pull out that grateful list. And you know what I want you to do? I want you to read aloud the things you wrote down. There's something amazing that happens when you stop and your ears hear what your mouth is saying. Don't just think it, don't just read it, but actually speak it out loud. And see if it doesn't start to change your heart a little bit, start to change those anxieties, those fears, or those negative emotions that you don't want to take hold in your life today. Psalm 100 is actually a psalm. It says, for giving grateful praise. Listen to this and listen for the things the writer is grateful for. It goes like this. Shout for joy to the Lord, all the earth. Worship the Lord with gladness. Come before him with joyful songs. Here it is. Know that the Lord is God. It is he who made us, and we are his. We are his people, the sheep of his pasture. Enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him and praise his name. For the Lord is good, and his love endures forever. His faithfulness continues through all generations. If you need help with your grateful list, go to Psalm 100 today and let that get you kickstarted there. Be mindful. Remember, life is good. We have it okay. And when those negative thoughts start popping up today, grab out that grateful list and combat it with all the great things that God has done for you.